So today I will be replacing all of the oils in my Panda 4x4. That will consist of the engine oil and oil filter, the gearbox and transfer box oil, and the rear differential oil. While I'm under the car, I'm also going to give it a check over, see if there's anything else I need to replace. But yes, that's what I'll be doing today, keeping on top of all the maintenance. The last oil change I did was probably about 6,000 miles ago, and I like to change it after every kind of extreme trip I do. So like when I went to Wales, you put everything under a lot of pressure and under a lot of load. So I think it's a good idea after every single kind of hard trip that you do, it's worth changing the oils. So yeah, I'll show you what oil I've got and then we'll get on to replacing it. So this is the range of oil I will be using. For the engine, I will be using Miller's EE Performance, 10W40 fully synthetic, oil filter there. For the gearbox, I'm using Penrite Pro Gear, fully synthetic. And this, I believe, is GL4, so that'll be for the gearbox, and the gearbox and the transfer box share the same oil, so I've got two of them. And then for the rear differential, I've got 80W90 mineral oil, which is GL5, and that's what the manual states to have. So I've had the car up and running for quite some time. I took it for a good drive this morning, so all the fluids are nice and warm. I'll be doing the engine oil first, and then move to the gearbox, and then move to the back axle. And then once I've done the engine stuff, I can put the sump guard back on the car, because it's been off for a little while. And yeah, that'll be the full service done. So let's get cracking on. So underneath the car, obviously oil filter there, sump drain is there. So I'll drain that first, and then I will take off the oil filter. Wait for that to finish the drain, and then fit the new oil filter. Put the drain plug back in, and then top it back up. Right, new oil filter is on, pre-filled. The rubber gasket was lightly smeared in oil. Just hand tight on there, don't want to go too tight with it. So that's now on. Now time to put the drain plug back in. I'm going to replace the copper washer on there as well. Clean these both down, so when I put oil in and start it up, I can see if there's anything leaking, which hopefully there won't be. All right, time to fill up with oil. So the 1.4 litre 100 horsepower engine takes roughly 2.9 litres of oil. I've already put a little bit in the oil filter, so I'm probably going to go down to just between the 2.5 and 2 level on this on the oil can. So I'm going to put that in now. So that's roughly the amount I want to put in. I'll leave that to settle, and then I'll check the oil level. So like I mentioned before, gearbox and transfer box are all one complete unit, so they share the oil. Fill point is up here, and then the drain plug is this one here. So I'll undo the drain plug, And then undo the fill plug so it gets a bit more airflow through, drain that down, have a look at the condition, and then put the drain plug back in and top it up. So before I did the gearbox and differential breather modification by raising the breather up, the oil coming out of the gearbox and the rear diff were quite heavily contaminated with water. But since I've done the diff breather and the gearbox breather modification, there's no real signs of any water in that oil. So that's a really good result. Anyway, I'm going to wait for it to drain out, clean around the drain plug, put it back in, then use the pressure filler to fill it back up. Time to fill up the gear oil, and I'll be using this pressure filler. I think the capacity is 1.9 litres, but I can't quite remember. Anyway, I'm going to put both of these in and then top it up and then move on to the rear diff. So when the gearbox oil starts to come back out of that hole, that's when I'll stop filling and put the fill plug back in. Okay, so it's just starting to leak out now. Right, that's topped up. Time to move on to the rear diff. I have noticed there's a slight weep coming from this drive shaft seal, so I'm going to have to sort that out at some point. Anyway, I've got my rear diff guard on, but I'm still able to fill it up and drain the oil. Drain plug's there, the fill point is there. So again, like the front, remove the drain plug, then remove the fill, clean it all down, and then top it back up. So again, like with the front gearbox, when this starts to overflow out of the fill hole, that's when we know we've got enough. And there we are. So that is all of the oils changed and done on the Panda 4x4, engine oil, oil filter, gearbox transfer case oil, and rear differential oil. What I'm going to do now is, while it's on the ramp, I'm going to give it a quick check over to see if there's anything else I need to change for the next time I do a service on it. And then after that, it's time to put the sump guard back on, and then we're ready to hit the trails. So So a few things I've noticed is my gearbox lower mount has definitely seen better days. So that will be on my next order list to get one of them. One of these covers, which covers the fuel lines underneath, I have removed because it snapped off slightly. So I removed that, but I'm probably going to plan to do some kind of alley cover instead of these plastic ones. So apart from that gearbox mount, everything else seems pretty good. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to now fit the under tray and then we are all done. So that is all of the oils replaced in my 2005 Fiat Panda 4x4. That was the engine oil, oil filter, gearbox and transfer box oil, and rear differential oil. Well worth doing after a hard weekend like I had in Wales. Quite a heavy weekend away. It's worth replacing the oil after that. But normally I would change the engine oil every 6,000 miles, and then the gearbox and rear differential oil I'd change every second engine oil change, so around 12,000 miles. But yeah, it's a peace of mind. It's done now, relatively straightforward. Some guard is back on as well. I took it off when I did my front bumper modification, so if you haven't seen that video, have a look at that one. But thank you very much for watching. I hope this was quite informative. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment on the video if you have any ideas for other videos you might want me to do. If you want to keep more up to date with what I'm doing, have a look at my Instagram page, which is the Panda 4x4. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.